Imagine stepping into a bustling military base in the heart of Texas where the sun beats down on rows of camouflage-clad soldiers marching in perfect sync. But in the midst of this disciplined chaos, a sharp-tongued colonel spots a woman in civilian clothes, clipboard in hand, quietly observing the drills. He strides over, his chest puffed out like a peacock, and sneers, "Sweetheart, this ain't no place for tourists. Why don't you run along and let the real soldiers handle things?" Little does he know, she's not just any woman. She's a 4-star general, outranking him by miles. And this moment is about to ignite a firestorm that will shake the entire chain of command. If you're loving stories like this, that pack a punch of justice and empowerment, hit that subscribe button right now and join our community of over 1 million viewers who crave these epic tales. Let's dive in. The day started like any other at Fort Bliss, the massive army installation sprawling across the desert landscape. Colonel Harlan Thorpe, a grizzled veteran in his late 50s, with a mustache that screamed old school authority, ruled his corner of the base with an iron fist wrapped in outdated machismo. He'd risen through the ranks during the Gulf War era, where grit and bravado were badges of honor. But times had changed, and Harlan hadn't gotten the memo. He barked orders at his subordinates, dismissed ideas from junior officers, and had a particular disdain for what he called the softer side of the modern military diversity initiatives, women in combat role, all that woke nonsense, as he grumbled over his morning coffee. Enter Major General Elena Vasquez, though on this day she was simply Ms. Vasquez to anyone who asked. At 52, Elena was a force of nature, a Latina woman from a humble San Antonio family who'd shattered glass ceilings from West Point to the Pentagon. With 4 stars on her uniform when she chose to wear it, she was one of the highest-ranking women in U.S. military history, overseeing strategic operations across multiple branches. But today she was undercover, part of a top-secret audit ordered by the Joint Chiefs to root out inefficiencies and toxic leadership at key bases. Dressed in a simple blouse and slacks, her hair tied back in a no-nonsense ponytail, she blended in as a civilian consultant. No insignia, no fanfare, just her sharp eyes and a notebook full of observations. Harlan first noticed her during a routine inspection of the motor pool. Vehicles gleamed under the relentless sun, mechanics hustling to meet his impossible deadlines. Elena stood off to the side, jotting notes about outdated equipment and safety protocols that screamed negligence. Harlan, spotting her from across the yard, marched over with his entourage of yes-men trailing behind. "Excuse me, ma'am," he drawled, his voice dripping with condescension, "but this area's restricted. You lost or something? Maybe looking for the PX to buy some souvenirs?" Elena looked up, her expression calm but her mind racing. She'd dealt with men like him her entire career, those who saw her gender first and her accomplishments never. "I'm here on official business, Colonel," she replied evenly, flashing a generic ID badge that revealed nothing of her rank. "Just conducting some evaluations." Harlan chuckled, glancing at his subordinates for approval. They smirked obediently. "Evaluations? From a civilian? Listen, honey, I've been running this outfit for 15 years. We don't need some desk jockey telling us how to polish our tanks." He leaned in closer, his breath smelling of stale cigars. "Why don't you stick to what you know? Bake some cookies for the troops or something." The laughter from his men echoed across the yard, but Elena's face remained a mask of composure. Inside, though, a storm brewed. This wasn't just personal. It was symptomatic of deeper issues plaguing the base. Low morale, high turnover, and whispers of harassment that had reached the highest levels. As the day wore on, the tension escalated like a slow-burning fuse. Elena shadowed Harlan through meetings, watching as he dismissed a female lieutenant. Proposal for updated training simulations with a wave of his hand. "That's cute, Lieutenant Ramirez. But let's leave the big ideas to the boys who've seen real action." Ramirez's cheeks flushed, but she bit her tongue. Harlan's reputation for retaliation was legendary. Elena noted it all, her pen flying across the page. But Harlan couldn't resist needling the consultant further. During a lunch break in the mess hall, he cornered her at a table. "So, Ms. Vasquez, what exactly qualifies you to judge my command? You ever fire a weapon? Or is your expertise in diversity quotas?" Elena's grip tightened on her fork, but she smiled faintly. "I've fired more than my share, Colonel. And I've led operations that would make your head spin." Her words carried a subtle edge, but Harlan missed it entirely, too busy guffawing to his cronies. "Oh, feisty. I like that. But seriously, darling, the military's no place for playing dress-up. Go back to whatever office sent you and tell them we're just fine." The mockery didn't stop there. By afternoon, word had spread about the nosy civilian lady getting schooled by the colonel. Soldiers whispered in the barracks, some amused, others uneasy. Elena, meanwhile, delved deeper into her audit. She interviewed privates who confessed to bullying under Harlan's watch, sergeants who admitted fudging reports to avoid his wrath, and a medic who revealed outdated medical supplies that could cost lives in a real deployment. Each revelation fueled her resolve, but she bided her time, knowing the big reveal would hit like a precision strike. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery oranges, the first twist unfolded. Harlan hosted a mandatory officers' briefing in the command center. A dimly lit room buzzing with fluorescent lights and the hum of projectors. Elena slipped in quietly, taking a seat in the back. Harlan, at the podium, launched into his spiel about upcoming exercises, but his eyes locked on her. Well, look who's joined us. Miss Vasquez, care to share your pearls of wisdom with the class? The room tittered nervously. Elena stood, her voice steady. Actually, Colonel, I do have some observations. She began listing inefficiencies, wasted resources, poor leadership practices, each point backed by irrefutable data. Harlan's face reddened. This is outrageous. Who do you think you are, barging in here like you own the place? He slammed his fist on the podium. Security. Escort this woman out. But before anyone could move, Elena reached into her bag and pulled out her real credentials, a folder emblazoned with the Pentagon seal. She walked to the front, her steps deliberate, like a predator closing in. Colonel Thorpe, I'm Major General Elena Vasquez, United States Army. And I do own this place in a manner of speaking. She flipped open the folder, revealing her stars, her commendations, her unassailable authority. The room fell into stunned silence. Harlan's jaw dropped, his mustache twitching as color drained from his face. That's impossible, he stammered. You're General? General? His mind reeled, replaying every insult, every belittling comment. The officers around him shifted uncomfortably, realizing they'd laughed along with a man who'd just mocked a superior who outranked him by an entire galaxy. Elena's eyes locked on his, her voice like steel. Not just any general, Colonel. 4 stars. I've commanded divisions in Iraq and Afghanistan, advised presidents, and reformed bases twice the size of this one. And you've spent your career bullying those beneath you, clinging to outdated prejudices that have no place in today's military. She paused, letting the weight sink in. Your mockery today? It's not just unprofessional, it's a symptom of why this base is failing. Harlan tried to recover, blustering about misunderstandings, but it was too late. Elena signaled to her aide, who'd been waiting outside another twist. She hadn't come alone. Military police entered, and within minutes, Harlan was relieved of command pending investigation. Whispers turned to gasps as the reality hit. The tourist he'd dismissed was the architect of his downfall. As news rippled through the base, empowerment surged like a tidal wave. Lieutenant Ramirez stepped forward, her voice strong for the first time in months. General, thank you. We've needed this. Soldiers who'd suffered in silence found their voices, reports flooding in about Harlan's toxic reign. Elena addressed them all in an impromptu assembly under the stars, her words inspiring. This military is built on respect, not rank alone. We rise together, or we fall divided. Cheers erupted, a cathartic release after years of suppression. In the days that followed, the audit transformed Fort Bliss. New protocols were implemented, diversity training mandated, and promotion went to those who'd earned them through merit, not favoritism. Harlan faced a court-martial, his career crumbling like the desert sand. But for Elena, it was more than justice. It was a reminder of her own journey. From a young cadet facing similar scorn to a leader reshaping the future. As the base lights flickered on that final night, Elena stood alone on a hill overlooking the expanse, the weight of her stars feeling lighter. She turned mockery into a movement, proving that true power lies not in belittling others, but in lifting them up. And in that moment of quiet triumph, she knew the military, like America itself, was evolving one empowered voice at a time. What an incredible story of revenge, empowerment, and surprise, right? If it left you fired up, smash the like button and share with a friend. And hey, to keep the conversation going, from which part of the country are you watching this video? Drop it in the comment below. I love hearing from you all across the U.S.